Hello my interior design family, welcome to today's video where we're talking about, are you ready to hire an interior designer, or is it your time? How do you get to know? My name is Tia, I'm from Tia Karen Interiors, so let's get right into it. I'm going to start with a small story about how I personally used to be an impulse buyer. I was one of those people that really loved interior design. I'm sure like if you're on this channel and if you've clicked on this video, you might be someone like me. I used to love interior design, and I used to love like going to interior stores, like anything on the high street. Like when I was younger and I was a teenager, I remember going into the stores, loving everything I was seeing, and eventually when I grew a bit older, so I could buy my own things, I would just go and look at what I like and buy it. I loved it in the moment and I bought it, you know. I would walk in the store and today maybe I saw this piece of furniture that was gold and black, for example, and I really liked it, I'd buy it. And then the next time I go in the store, maybe there was something really fluffy and pink, like a poof on ottoman, right? And then I would buy it. But then my space didn't look cohesive, or I was buying things that I didn't need. I had nowhere to really fit them properly. They didn't fit with all my other furniture. Sometimes they were not always the best of quality. And because I didn't think through the entire process, my space was looking out of whack. And so what happened, then I would have to go back and like buy more things, rearrange things, throw out the other things that I, bought impulsively. And I was wasting money in a way we can say, because I wasn't buying in a sustainable way and my space wasn't looking cohesive. But then of course, I did go and to study interior design, and I learned the entire process and how to plan for everything from the beginning before I actually start wasting money buying things that either are too big or don't fit, or the color is just off, the material is just off, the metal doesn't go with everything else, or like, you know, the fabric is just not right. But even if I love the individual item, you know, I learned how to create cohesive spaces that where everything speaks to each other and it just syncs and everything just goes well, right? Whereas before I was buying individual items that I loved in the moment, but then my house was looking like, well, a mess. And some of the fabrics and the materials like didn't work for my space because of my lifestyle. So even if it looked nice and it looked pretty, it should have just stayed in the store. So if you're anyone like me, if you've been hearing this story and you're like, yeah, I vibe with that, I'm similar, then you're someone who is probably ready to hire an interior designer. If you can't do it by yourself, then it's time for help, because clearly you know that you love interior things and you love to create your space and to make it feel beautiful and for you to walk in every day and feel worthy and like, yes, this is my home. But everything you've been trying hasn't been working so far. So now it's time to accept some help. The second way in which you can know if you're ready to hire an interior designer is if you're someone who like is really organized and you really know how to like put together a style. For example, you're really good with like Pinterest or like all the architectural magazines and what's on trend. And you can really like understand the style, right? And then you have been able to create your own space before in a style that maybe you've read about in a magazine or you've seen on Pinterest. But then even if you have created that space in the same way that other people have created it, now you're in your space and you feel like, you know what, this just doesn't feel right. This just doesn't feel like me. I have been there before where, you know, I create spaces based on what other people tell me, you know, based on inspiration. And inspiration is great, but it needs to be in alignment with your actual style, so that you feel at home in your space. Because before, when you're just looking at the aesthetic, like from the outside, looking at everything from the packaging and the aesthetics, it looks beautiful, but maybe it doesn't work for your lifestyle, you know, and things just don't fit and you just don't fit and your lifestyle just doesn't work in that space. And then you're frustrated, you're feeling angry, depleted, like, oh, feeling like this is unfair, but you've created this space that, well, is insta worthy, but at the core of it, you don't feel like you know, it's a space that really fits you, you know, and there's something in you that can't accept being in that space and something just feels off, then you're also a good person to know, you're also at a good position to know that now you actually know that you value feeling like you're at home in your own home, and therefore you're now ready to hire an interior designer because you know what doesn't work and you just know how you want to feel. And the good thing about working with a designer is they can really understand your lifestyle and find things that fit you beyond their just going on the aesthetics, right? Because we need to have our lifestyles adjusted to. And then there is the third category, and this one is closely linked to the impulse buyer like myself but you're someone who again, you know that you want to create beautiful spaces, and you go into store, you really put effort into the things that you like, and you're really thinking through quality and everything you've heard about interior design or purchasing, and you're buying items and you're actually trying to like scrapbook everything. So you're just taking ideas from many different sources and trying to like scrapbook them. But then for you, you might find yourself like in a position where it's like it's not working, it's not making you feel the way that you want to feel in your space. It just doesn't look the way you've tried. You actually have tried to implement all these concepts, but it just doesn't look the way you expected it to look. You know, despite all the effort that you've put in, it's just not working out, or you're just not finding the items that you want, or things are just not fitting in your budget, and you are at a loss. And if you're someone like this, then you're in a good place to know that you're ready to hire an interior designer. Of course, not everybody not watching this needs to go ahead and hire an interior designer. But the point is, sometimes we reach a position whereby we have tried everything and nothing is literally working. And then you're just at a loss and you're like, I don't know what to do because I know what I'm supposed to get. I try to get it and it doesn't work. Or you just have a headache because you just don't know what you should be doing anymore. So, or you could just have an empty space and you're just like, I have no clue, I have no idea where I want to start, or how to start, or what I should do. Then you're in a good place to hire an interior designer. And if there could be questions to be like, well, isn't hiring an interior designer an extra expense? But then it all depends on the type of service that you're going for. And for that, I will link, or you'll find in this series, another video where I go through all the different types of services you can get. Because sometimes interior design is not about like them having to redo your entire space, like gutting out everything. It all depends on whether you just want to dip your toe or go all the way in. It depends on how much help you actually need. So with that, I want you to tell me in the comments below if you think you're someone who's an impulse buyer like I am, someone who knows how to create good style but you just don't connect to it, and or if you're someone who's a scrapbooker, you know, you just get things from different sources and try to make something out of it and it's just not working. Which one of these three categories do you fall into? And just let me know if you're anything like me, if you've been an impulse buyer and love furniture and interior design and you just splurge your money on everything even if it doesn't work in the end. If you're anything like me, then put a little cactus emoji in the comments, and I'll see you next time, family.